new car prices now $14,000.
Excellence of the specialty teams of both sides. The New Jersey Devils come out in the second period, get a power play goal and a shorthanded goal. The Capitals answer back with a power play tally. All 6 goals in this game have come on the specialty teams, 4 power play and 2 shorthanded. And this game is tied up at 3 after 2 periods at the Meadowlands in New Jersey. Well, it's in the Christmas holidays, and we hope most of you were able to enjoy it with your family. With the Capitals traveling so much, opportunities were very rare, but they did get a chance to have their Christmas party, and thanks to Giant Food, we'll take a look at how the Capitals celebrated.
Here comes Santa Claus, here comes Santa Claus, riding down Santa Claus Lane. Blitzen, blitzen, all here's a reindeer pulling on a rein. Say it loud.
My name is Todd, and I wish you Merry Christmas. Hi, my name is Jared Peters, and I wish
Down Santa Claus Lane, he's got a bag that's filled with toys for boys, and it's filled with toys for boys and girls again. Hear those sleigh bells jingle jangle, what a beautiful sight. Jump in bed and cover up your head, 'cause Santa Claus comes tonight. Here comes Santa Claus, here comes Santa Claus, right down Santa Claus Lane. He doesn't care if you're rich or poor, he loves you just the same. Santa knows that we're God's children, that makes everything right. Fill your hearts with Christmas cheer, 'cause Santa Claus comes tonight. Well, here comes Santa Claus, here comes Santa Claus, right down Santa Claus Lane. He'll come around when the chimes ring out, it's Christmas morn again. Peace on earth will come to all if we just follow the line. Let's give thanks to the Lord above, 'cause Santa Claus comes tonight. Here comes Santa Claus,
I am Kyle Walker. Merry Christmas.
Can you say Merry Christmas, Katie?
Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas.
Hang your stockings and say your prayers, 'cause Santa Claus comes tonight. Here comes Santa Claus, here comes Santa Claus, right down Santa Claus Lane. He's got a bag that's filled with toys for boys and girls again. Hear those sleigh bells jingle jangle, what a beautiful sight. Jump in bed and cover up your head, 'cause Santa Claus comes tonight. Here comes Santa Claus, here comes Santa Claus, right down Santa Claus Lane. He doesn't care if you're rich or poor, he loves you just the same. Santa, Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas.
Did you get a good look at Santa Claus this year? It used to be Gaetan Duchesne, but he's up in Quebec City right now. So the Caps turned to the defensive end, and it was number 3, Scott Stevens, behind the white beard. Our thanks to the people at Giant Food for sponsoring that look at the Capitals Christmas party, and we'll return to the Meadowlands after these messages.
When I joined the Redskins, I learned 2 things.
Patrick Sundstrom started the second period scoring with a shorthanded goal that tied the game. Then Pat Verbeek hit on the power play. That gave New Jersey a 3-2 lead. But before the period was out, Dale Hunter, his second goal of the night, his second on the power play, has got this game tied up at 3. My partner Mike Fornes joins me, and we'll look at that second period after these messages here on DC 20.
It's a 3-3 lockup between the Washington Capitals and the New Jersey Devils here tonight at the end of 2 periods of play. Mike Fornes welcoming you back once again along with Al Koken here on our DC 20 hockey telecast. I don't know what you think, but special teams, the importance that's being placed on them now. Look at this game tonight. We've got 2 shorthanded goals, 1 for each side, and then 4 power play goals. Everything's split right down the middle. Let's look at how things went during the second period.
Well, it started out with a shorthanded goal by Patrick Sundstrom. He makes a great play. Comes in there. Sullivan is the guy who gets the puck over to him. But watch this backhand shot by Patrick Sundstrom. I've mentioned he's played a spectacular game already tonight. We'll go into him a little bit later, but Sundstrom gets him started, ties the game up, and then with the extra man, Pat Verbeek. The New Jersey power play has been hot over the last 5 games, and they're getting great penetration and work down low. Guys you're not being able to knock out. Look how Muller stands on his feet. He's got Hatcher spinning around, and there is 5'9" Pat Verbeek in the land of the Giants to do the scoring. That put New Jersey into the first lead of the hockey game at 3-2. But the guy who really makes his home down in front of the net for the Capitals, Dale Hunter, is the guy who gets it back. You see how Wolanin clotheslines and almost beheads with his stick Gustafsson, but that sprung the puck free, and Dale Hunter snuck in before Sauvé could recover, batted it past Bob Sauvé, and on the power play ties the game up at 3-3.
The Caps outshot the Devils 14-5 during the second period, and you would think that would call for much more in the scoring column, but again, those special teams, the number of penalties being called, does make a big difference. Has that improved the game?
I think it has to a degree, but it still puzzles me why some of these players who know these penalties are going to get called continue to take the cheap ones. Some of these rinky-dink holding calls that these guys are doing, they know they're going to get called for it, and you get these great double takes, these expressions of complete disbelief that I'm getting called for it, particularly with a guy like Andy Van Helleman, who's still one of the top-rated referees, is known for calling, at least early in the game, a tight hockey game. These guys continue to take the penalties. That's the message that's being laid out, and a lot of teams don't seem to be getting the word. Some of these players taking penalties that I cannot believe. They should learn by now, Mike.
So you think the players will quit, but the question is how long will it take before they learn to lay off? Our score is 3-3, and we'll be back with the out-of-town scores and also tonight's third period right after this.
Hey, good night, Mr. Hall.
Good night, Leo. We're rich food days like today. Sometimes it feels like it could burn right through me. The doctor explained it once, how what's down here burns up here. And that's all great, but I just want the burning to stop. So the doctor told me to try something different. You know what? It works.
New Gaviscon Extra Strength Relief Formula stops heartburn pain and neutralizes acid.
Toyota Corolla. First time I saw the new one, I said, that's a Corolla?
And why'd you say that?
It doesn't look like a Corolla. It's beautiful. And from where the driver sits, it's even more beautiful.
How so?
Great handling. Multi-valve performance, sporty interiors. Beautiful. But I still keep thinking, this is a Corolla?
The new Dimension Corolla. Legendary value. Toyota quality.
Who could ask for anything more?
You know that Roto-Rooter is the one name to remember when you have a clogged sewer, sink, or drain.
And you know you can count on us for fast service. On most calls, we get to your home in 1 hour. That's right, 1 hour service from Roto-Rooter. Expert sewer and drain cleaning, and 1 hour service from me, your Roto-Rooter man. See? Right on time.
And away go travels down the drain. Roto-Rooter.
This is it. This is the sale you've been waiting for. Salem Furniture's fantastic New Year sale with 30 to 40% off the manufacturer's list price. Save big on their finest name brand furniture. 30 to 40% off famous brand living rooms, dining rooms, bedrooms, bedding, dinettes, and much, much more. Nobody beats Salem's price. Salem Furniture's fantastic New Year sale is going on right now at all 6 locations. Bailey's Crossroads, Silver Spring, Rockville, Waldorf, Camp Springs, and Laurel Savage. Don't miss it.
Where can a guy go for a good time around here?
To Cheers for the best. Tonight's Capitals hockey game is brought to you in part by the Masonry Institute. Watch out, Washington. Break and block our back. By your Washington area Buick dealers. By K Jewelers, the Diamond People. By Safeway. And by Toyota. There's quality, and then there's Toyota quality. Who could ask for anything more?
We're back once again here at the Meadowlands in New Jersey. 3-3, the story between the Caps and the Devils. Here's what's happening out of town. Toronto at Hartford. It's Bester against Liut in net. Deneen for the Whalers and Secord for Toronto. They're tied up at 1-1. Detroit at St. Louis. The same story. A 1-1 score. Greg Steffen against Greg Millen. Peter Klima's 21st for the Red Wings, and Federico with the St. Louis goal. Minnesota at Chicago. It's now 2-1 Blackhawks. Kerry Taco for the North Stars and Darren Pang for Chicago. Troy Murray and Brian Noonan have scored for Chicago. Brian Bellows has the Minnesota North Star goal. Philadelphia at Edmonton later on. Winnipeg at Los Angeles also later. And a 76-67 lead for the Portland Trailblazers over the Washington Bullets in the third period. Right here, the third period just beginning, and Malarchuk stops the puck and gives it off to Kevin Hatcher as we're underway. Here's Bob Gould. Tries to feed it to Kelly Miller. Back inside Devils ice it goes to Ken Danico. Gartner into forecheck. The lead pass out comes over to Patrick Sundstrom. He's across the line. Tries to flip it in front, but Scott Stevens takes over. Up to Gustafson. Dumped out of the zone and cleared all the way to center. Now rolling back into the Washington end. Larry Murphy feeds to Michael Pavanka. Stolen puck, but taken right back. Stevens grabs it from Muller. Now Gartner in across the blue line, challenged by Driver. Sorella flips it out. Gartner hits Pavanka and backs up now to the blue line for Larry Murphy. Long lead pass for Dale Hunter. Hunter flips it in. Ivan Korovo digs it out of the corner and tries to center. Sauve blocks it. And Muller out to the blue line. Dave Christian keeps it inside the New Jersey end. Korovo into chase behind the net. Driver shoots it off the boards. Hunter takes it back in across the line, and offside is called here against the Capitals.
Mike, we get word now that goal credited on the power play to Jim Korn in the first period has been changed to an even strength goal. And when we do look at the times, Gould went in the penalty box at 13:21. Korn scored at 15:21. So that's exactly 2 minutes. So the power play, it still was a factor. Gould wasn't even on the ice when Korn scored his goal, but officially has to be credited as an even strength goal.
Tonight's the third Devils home game in a row. They lost to the Rangers 5-3 and beat the Islanders 6-4 on this homestand. They play at Hartford on January the 2nd. Danico starts out. Tries to get past Adams. Flips it out to center ice. Dave Christian to the red line. Over to Greg Adams. Centering pass just misses Christian. Back to the point. Langway keeps it in. His drive sizzles just wide. Now here's Adams to dig it out. Puts it behind the net. Mike Richard tries to center the puck and gets it out there, but Sullivan moves back to center and tosses it in. Langway back into the corner. Up to Greg Adams. Adams on the right wing to Craig Laughlin. His shot caught by Sauve. Puts it behind the net. Stolen puck, and Richard challenging at the side of the net, but the Devils clear it out. Sent all the way down by Jim Korn. Scott Stevens feeds it right side, and Craig Laughlin out to center off the skate blade of Adams, picked up by Stevens. Capitals changing the line on the fly. Stevens across the blue line. He's tripped up, and the Devils send it back into Washington ice. Peter Sundstrom hustles back afterwards and leads it now to Larry Murphy. Right wing side to Bob Gould. Left wing pass. Here's Miller in alone. A deke, and it's played away in front before he can get the shot off. Sauve got his stick on it and prevented Miller from a scoring chance. The puck cleared off the glass out to center ice, and the Devils ease some pressure here as Murphy has to go back and get it. New Jersey changes up the line. Long lead pass for Kelly Miller. McClellan chases him into the corner. Head-manning pass. David Maley spun around by Kevin Hatcher. Right in front of the Washington bench. The puck cleared into the corner. McLean has lost his glove and has to stoop to pick it up. And the Caps come out. Scott Stevens. Right side to Peter Sundstrom. He's taken out at the blue line. Patrick Sundstrom starts back now for the Devils. Over to McLean on the right wing. Stops on the right wing side. Tries to center, and here's Hatcher. Flipping it out to the red line. Bruce Driver backs up into his own zone. 3-3 score with 15:40 to play here in the third period. Driver and Muller both thought the other one had the puck. Lead pass to Verbeek. That's taken away. Pivonka tries to send it in. Hits the referee, Andy Van Hellemond, and he's hurting off being hit by the puck there. And the linesmen have to come over and have a look now at the referee of this game. There's a break in the action with the score. The Capitals 3, the Devils 3.
Tonight, the 5th of January, as the Capitals travel to the Spectrum to take on Patrick Division rivals, the Philadelphia Flyers. It comes your way live at 7:30, and it's all right here on your superstation for sports, DC20.
Capitals have John Barrett out of the lineup with a knee injury, Mike Ridley with a knee injury, and Pete Peters with a knee injury, and Andy Van Hellemond's knee is smarting right now.
Took that shot right about the knee level, or maybe just a little below. Michael Pivonka tried to back it up the boards, and it caught Andy Van Hellemond, who's one of the helmeted officials in the National Hockey League, but all the officials try and wear a little padding down there, a little protection, but not enough when you get a good hard shot in a vulnerable spot. Andy Van Hellemond limping, but he's going to tough it out. It looks like he's going to stay in this hockey game.
In addition to the Capitals' injuries, 3 players are not suited up tonight. Ed Kastelik, Gary Galley, and Lou Francischetti. Here's Mike Gartner. In on the right wing side, jammed up by Driver. Gustafson ties up in the corner. Gartner moves in, and the puck is cleared all the way back to the Washington blue line. Here's Langway. Off the boards to Pivonka. He feeds Bengt Gustafson. Gustafson across the blue line. Jumps to avoid a hit from Sorella, and that brings the puck over to Bruce Driver. Right wing side for Verbeek. Leads it out to center. Verbeek on the right wing. Cranks up a shot, but it's into the crowd. Devils have some scratches tonight. Randy Velishek, Anders Carlson, and Perry Anderson. Jack O'Callahan coming back from a strained knee and not quite ready yet for action. Andy Brickley out with back spasms, and George McPhee with stomach muscle problems, similar to what Al Secord had when he was in Chicago. And they've sent him to the same doctor in Chicago, as a matter of fact. And here's another injury. Alain Chevrier, who really is available to play tonight, had an injured shoulder. X-rays proving negative. Took a hard shot in the Islander game a couple of nights ago. But Chevrier, not destined to play in this game, has never beaten the Washington Capitals. I'm sure sooner or later he's going to want to try and confront that record and get that monkey off his back.
Chevrier certainly established himself as the #1 goaltender, but I think Bob Sauvé is going to have to pay some attention to young Sean Burke with the Canadian Olympic team.
Here's a centering pass and a shot by Brown. Walks just wide as he was tied up in front of the net. Sullivan centers it. A drive and a save by Malarchuk. Rebound. Back over to Loiselle, and his attempt to center is cleared by Scott Stevens as the Devils put the pressure on. Back to touch it is Danico. The face-off brings the face-off, or the icing call rather, brings the face-off back into the Washington zone with 14:12 to go here in the third period.
First good New Jersey scoring chance of this period, and it was a beauty. Clint Malarchuk had to come up big, as he did a couple times late in that second period after the Capitals had tied things up at 3.
Now the Capitals played a good game against the Flyers the other night, and in the third period ran into some problems, lacking intensity. I'm starting to see some of the same signs out here tonight. 2 good periods. They were even with the Devils. Right here in the third, it's like they're waiting on something to happen.
Yeah, they've got to start forcing the issue. That doesn't mean to gamble with your defensemen, but those forwards in particular have to be a lot more aggressive, getting the puck out of the zone and finishing off those plays. Kelly Miller with a break and couldn't even get a shot on goal.
The puck cleared from in front out of a crowd by Larry Murphy, and he flips it over the glass and into the seats.
You know, and this New Jersey team is similar in some ways to what the Flyers are like now. They certainly aren't the quality of Philadelphia, but they've got guys who like to hit and create turnovers that way. And they, as we talked about, so many of their younger players have matured and really now are starting to reach that talent level you knew they would get to eventually. So if you got a young team who hustles and really scraps, you can't afford to stand around. You've got to take the play to them. And the Capitals aren't doing it. They've had a couple good shifts off the Richard, Lachlan, and Adams line, and Gustafson had a couple of opportunities to do things, but so far the forwards and the Capitals really haven't put a great deal of pressure on Bob Sauvé right now. You depend on a guy like Dale Hunter to start doing those type of things, but you got to get that puck out of your zone first and get things going, and they're having trouble doing that right now.
Off the sideboards, it comes in behind the net. Malarchuk leaves it there for Langway. Off the knees of Hunter out to center ice, and Mark Johnson moves it ahead. Jim Corrin lost his edge on his skates, and here's Scott Stevens to start out to Mike Richard. Fancy move to get to the blue line, but he's taken out there. Here comes Lachlan, a shot. Saved by Sauvé. And on the rebound, charging in came Greg Adams and barreled into Bob Sauvé and knocked him over, looking for a rebound. There was none. And Sauvé managed to stand up and hold that puck through all that as Adams really plowed into him.
Good play on both the part of Adams and Bruce Driver. We talked about the Capital forwards being a little more aggressive, and they certainly were there. We'll talk about it when we return. This game is tied up at 3. Now, these are the type of plays the Capitals need to make. You watch how it sets up. Lachlan with the shot. Watch the way Greg Adams follows it in and tries to shake the puck loose. But anytime you touch a goaltender, the other team should make you pay for it, and Bruce Driver does that. He throws Adams to the ice. Good aggressive play by Adams to try to get something going for the Capitals, but on the same hand, you got to give a lot of credit to Bruce Driver for standing up for his goaltender, which he must do in a situation like that.
The puck cleared out to neutral ice. Here's Kevin Hatcher. Left wing side for Richard. He jams up with Curvers in the corner, and the puck cleared back to the right point. Here's Sauvé. Up the boards. Greg Adams. Behind the goal for Lachlan. And Curvers comes up with it, steers it past Sullivan, though. It's kept in by Hatcher, and through a crowd, the puck goes on net. Sauvé is able to make the glove save. Now Adams starts in again, pushing and shoving. This time, Curvers and Adams exchange some angry glances.
I think at even strength so far tonight, this has been the best Capitals line. Richard between Lachlan and Adams after making a lazy pass early in that first period where he had Richard breaking down and kind of threw a lazy backhand past Adam, sat for a couple shifts. He got the message, and he really has come on in the second period and in this third period. And I'll guarantee you that line's going to get a lot of ice time if this game stays up at 3. That is the type of forechecking, the hitting that Brian Murray needs. That's how you got to wake up your team. If you're playing kind of lethargically and just sitting on a 3-3 game, you got to create those turnovers, and that line certainly did on that last shift. And Greg Adams got in there and mixed it up with a couple people. That's going to earn him definitely more ice time.
Kirk Muller, the New Jersey captain, leans into work against Ben Gustafson. 3-3 score, 12:55 to play in the third period. Big crowd on hand here tonight.
It's another sellout crowd, if I'm not mistaken, which would make it the third in a row here at the Meadowlands, a place that formerly is just so empty. Now people are turning out, as we had talked about.
Here's Muller. Now we've got Danico in behind the net, jammed up with Mike Gartner behind the play. The whistle blows, and I'm not sure what Van Helleman's call is going to be.
Nothing.
Apparently they called it offside as the puck came back inside the New Jersey zone. So offside against Washington. Devils will change up now. Maley comes out along with Patrick Sundstrom and John McLean. Sorella stays back on the blue line with Danico. The Caps have Gould out there with Kelly Miller and Peter Sundstrom, who now heads back to the bench and is replaced after the draw by Michael Pavanka. Pavanka with the puck back at his own line. Stevens trailing the play over to Mike Gartner. Hit by Patrick Sundstrom, and it's thrown back into the Washington zone. Larry Murphy is on defense with Scott Stevens. Gould heads to the box and is replaced by Gustafson. The puck sent in the air back into the New Jersey zone, and here's Sorella. Turns it out to center ice. Off Patrick Sundstrom's stick, Scott Stevens ties up Maley. Danico couldn't get a shot off. Now here's Gustafson. Over to Scott Stevens. Lead pass for Pivonka. Gets outside the line. Patrick Sundstrom up to Maley. Gustafson takes it away. Sundstrom knocked to the ice by Mike Gartner. Sorella fires it back into the Washington zone. Larry Murphy. Over to Stevens. Off the glass all the way back to the Devils' blue line. 11:30 to play. Third period. We are tied at 3. Here's Peter Sundstrom up ahead to Bob Gould. He has Kelly Miller with him. Gould to the corner. Tries to get around Driver. Jammed up on the backboards. And Broughton flips it out to center ice. Langway for the Capitals on now with Hatcher. Can't find Bobby Gould. The puck goes to the corner. Well, Lannon jammed up there by Kelly Miller. Sundstrom, rather Peter Sundstrom for the Caps in there trying to dig it free. Langway comes along to help him out. He's checked by Verbeek. Gould's shot is blocked. And now Lannon moves it ahead to Verbeek. Out come the Devils. Muller on the right wing to Verbeek. Hatcher takes over. Flips it off the glass to the point. Driver keeps it in. Langway ties up. The puck centered, and right there was Peter Sundstrom, and he steers it all the way down. No icing. Bruce Driver to Pat Verbeek. He's checked by Corriveau. Langway up the right wing boards for Hatcher. Out to center ice to Dave Christian. On the move. Christian across the line. Drops it off for Hunter. Hunter's shot. Kicked out of there by Bob Sauvé. Here comes Doug Sullivan. Right wing pass. Brown's drive goes high off the glass. Greg Smith puts it off the backboards. Scott Stevens over to get it for the Capitals. Tries to lead it out to Ivan Corriveau. Here's Smith in the corner again. Sullivan loses control, and Smith takes it over, and now they rule a hand pass, stopping play with 9:45 to go in the third. There's a break in the action. We're tied at 3.
That's my nephew, an investigator, and his partner, a lawyer. I'm so proud of him, always doing nice things for people. Helping folks out of trouble. My nephew. Is this the face of an angel?
He's Turner. She's Taylor. Together, they're TNT.
Premiering January 16th at 7:30 on DC-20.
9:45 remaining in this third period. The game is still tied up at 3. Al Koken and Mike Forns with you tonight on DC-20 from the Brendan Byrne Arena in the Meadowlands in New Jersey. Capitals hockey, Big Patrick Division showdown. Just 5 points separating these two teams, with New Jersey 5 points ahead of the Caps, which makes this third period extra important.
Here comes Scott Stevens, flips it back inside the Devils zone. Doug Sullivan and Greg Adams go in after it. Out comes the pass to Brown. Doug Brown to Loiselle, back inside the Washington zone. Here's Mike Richard up the boards to Greg Adams. Back to Stevens, out to center ice. Laughlin fires it in. Joe Sorella out to center. Laughlin flags it down. Over to Scott Stevens. Right side for Murphy. Adams takes charge back at his own line. Up to Stevens at center ice. To Laughlin. And offside called here. Murphy was dragged across the line by Patrick Sundstrom on the play. Al, we're talking at the intermission about the number of penalties and the power play chances that both teams had converted on. And I really don't want fans listening to be misled. There have only been 16 minutes in penalties called. 5 penalties called against New Jersey, 3 against the Capitals. But teams prepare so much more now for that situation, and they are so much better prepared that power plays and shorthanded situations, providing almost all the scoring. Now they've taken away the Korn goal as a power play goal. It's an even strength goal. That makes 5 out of the 6.
But Mike, look at the penalties that are called. The first one of the game was a cross-checking. That's the only aggression penalty called. There have been 2 holding calls, 4 hooking calls, and interference. All restraining fouls, and that is the thing that we've talked about throughout this season. how the National Hockey League refs have tried to crack down on the restraining fouls to give people room, but some of these players just don't seem to be getting the message.
Here comes a high sticking call here. With 2 players involved, it looks like the Capitals' Kevin Hatcher will go off the ice along with a New Jersey player. There's a break in the action. The game is tied at 3.
It's a pathway that leads from here to tomorrow, from sea to shining sea. The great American road belongs to you. It's the feeling of smoothness, of power and grace. The road up ahead is command. The great American road belongs to you.
Well, there are still tickets available for the Friday game with the Pittsburgh Penguins on New Year's Day. It's a 1:35 game. All fans 16 and under receive a street hockey stick courtesy of J.C. Penney. You still got about 10 minutes to call phone charge at 432-0200. By the way, that Edmonton game with Wayne Gretzky on Saturday is all sold out. So if you want to see some good Capitals hockey this weekend, your chance to do it with the Pittsburgh Penguins in town on Friday, New Year's Day at 1:35.
Minor penalties for high sticking. 2 minutes to Kevin Hatcher and 2 minutes to Pat Verbeek at 11:22. Doesn't affect the manpower situation on the ice. Here comes Peter Sundstrom for the Capitals. Tosses it back inside the New Jersey zone. Wolanin back to get it. Out to McLean. Throws it in. Greg Smith. Out to center ice, and it's deflected into the Washington bench out of play. Now the Oilers are in the lead 1-0 over Philadelphia. Yari Curry has the goal to give Edmonton the edge.
Brian Murray talking with linesman Ray Scapanello, trying to convince Scapanello, calling an extra bench minor for too many men on the ice. And Doug Carpenter and Brian Murray have engaged in a line change war all night long. We talked about it at the very beginning of the show, and it certainly has kept up. It's the Muller line that Brian Murray has been trying to match up with, that Verbeek, Muller, and Broughton line, and Doug Carpenter has been trying to get them away, and there's a lot of shifting going on. How many times we've seen tonight the Capitals dumping the puck in and changing up, which is also one of the problems that they're getting into in that situation about not getting a lot of offense established. But the Capitals looking to play defense first, as they should, and of course will be happy to take a point off the road, but they really need to come in here because of the way they've been playing and get 2 points, move within 3 points of the New Jersey Devils, and send a little message to New Jersey, which has got to be feeling very good about itself right now. You start to deflate the Devils. They can be handled on the road, but if you can stop them here at home, it's an even bigger boost for the opposition team because they feel so invincible here at the New Jersey Meadowlands due to the New Jersey Devils.
This game's still up for grabs. 3-3 score, 7:45 to play here in the third period. This is Cirella from center ice, off the glove of Langway. Taken by Greg Smith, out to Gartner on the right wing. Now it's kept in by Shanahan. He throws it on net. Malarchuk makes the save. Greg Smith starts out on the right wing side for Mike Gartner. Gartner looking for Kelly Miller. At the blue line, it's taken over. Here comes Muller to center, into the Washington zone. Langway takes him out. The puck to the corner for Larry Murphy. Murphy out to Hunter. Hunter to center. Flips across the line, back inside the Devil zone. Hunter goes to take it. Gartner and Cirella tie up. Gartner's got the stick going pretty good on Cirella in retaliation for Cirella hitting him. And the Devils come back. Scott Stevens to the corner. Both teams changing up on the fly. Stevens across the line to Corriveau. Ivan Corriveau back to Stevens. Tries to flip it in front. It's played out of there by Danico. Doug Sullivan out to center ice. Back inside the Washington zone. Here's Dale Hunter up to Ivan Corriveau. Corriveau chases from center ice and throws it in. Christian in behind the net tries to challenge Danico for the puck, but here comes Wolanin to bring it back. Up to Doug Sullivan. Flips it back inside the Washington zone. Adams plays it off the boards. Scott Stevens tries to get it to Christian. It goes over into the corner. Mike Richard in to tie up Sullivan. Back of the net is Brown. He's checked, and now a pile-up in behind the goal. Van Hellemond lets play continue, and now Loiselle tries to pry it from under Murphy. No call on it. That brings Stevens in. And a pile-up behind the net. As Sullivan and Adams grab one another. They were teammates at one time in Hartford. And Larry Murphy thought he had the puck covered behind the net, tried to stop play, and with no whistle, the Devils' Loiselle felt he could get in there and start digging. There's a break in the action with the score, the Capitals 3, the Devils 3.
Both sides. This is what started that last scuffle. Murphy thinks he's got the puck frozen and feels the stick of Loiselle coming in and gives him a whack, and then in comes Scott Stevens to help out his fallen teammate. Both sides playing a little conservative, though, Mike, and each side's got to know this is there for the picking. 3-all hockey game.
Here comes Patrick Sundstrom, who's been dangerous out there for New Jersey all night. Up the boards, but Bob Gould takes over. He's got Peter Sundstrom of the Capitals trailing him. Throws it into the corner. Dale Hunter goes after him. Hunter with 2 goals for the Caps tonight. Off the boards and sent past Hatcher all the way down. On net, no icing. Here's Langway to pick it up. Rod Langway up the boards for Bobby Gould. Stolen puck. Malarchuk has no goal stick. Sundstrom tries to move it out of the zone. It's kept inside the line, and now Langway eases it to center, but the Devils dump it right back in. Malarchuk still doesn't have his goal stick. Now it's picked up by Hunter, and he gives it to him. And Gould works out to center. McLean on the right wing. Feeds the pass to Broughton. Backhander. That's kicked out. Rebound. Centered right in front. Herbert tries to set up a drive. Walks in. He's knocked to the ice by Kevin Hatcher. Here's a 2-on-1 break. 3-on-1. The Capitals' Gartner comes in. A pass, a deke, a pass, a shot, and a save, a shot, and a goal! Kevin Hatcher followed up the play as the Capitals played tic-tac-toe in front of the net and finally go ahead in the game 4-3.
Boy, without a big play from Kevin Hatcher, the Capitals almost blew an amazing scoring chance. You'll see coming down the ice, Bengt Gustafsson tries to signal to Mike Gartner that he's got a trailer. Peter Sundstrom, he's pointing back to Sundstrom. Gartner doesn't see him, tries to get him the puck. Now Gustafsson will try and get it to Sundstrom. Bruce Driver gets down and blocks it as Sundstrom puts it right into the bodies there. But there's Kevin Hatcher, and boy, is that a tough shot. He does not have a lot of room to lift that puck up with, and he gets the job done. Aggressive play, good play by Kevin Hatcher to come in there and make that goal.
What a big goal.
3-on-1, and the Capitals almost did not get the goal. Great alert play by Kevin Hatcher. Got him this lead at 4-3.
That would have taken a lot of steam out of the Capitals had they not scored on that play with that 2-on-1 and 3-on-1 break. Now here's a penalty call coming against Washington. This will give New Jersey a chance. Greg Smith gets in there and gets some pushing and shoving going, and now Hunter climbs in. Scott Stevens grabs a hold of the Devils' Verbeek from behind.
And Kirk Muller got in there, and it's going to be interesting to see if he gets some time. This was going to be all a Capitals penalty. And again, another retaliation by Greg Smith that gets caught. Andy Van Hellemond doesn't see what has Smith angry in a battle with Broughton. We'll try and sort it out for you when we return. The Capitals lead this one 4-3. Well, we still are waiting for the announcements, but we can tell you Muller and Hunter in the box along with Greg Smith, so it definitely looks like this will cost the Washington Capitals. Here are the announcements.
Greg Smith, 2 minutes for hooking. Number 32, Dale Hunter, 2 minutes for roughing. And for the Devils, number 9, Kirk Muller, 2 minutes for roughing. The time of the penalty.
So it will be the New Jersey Devils with the power play. Greg Smith called for hooking, and then coincidental roughing calls to Hunter and Muller. All 3 penalties come at 15:58. So the power play that has been so important tonight for both sides, the opportunity now presents itself for the New Jersey Devils, and Andy Van Hellemond, who had not made a penalty call on either side that was not coincidental, calls Greg Smith for hooking. Critical time in this hockey game. The New Jersey Devils, as we say, with the man advantage and under the gun, are the Capital penalty killers. But of course, Kirk Muller is not out there, and he is a major factor on that New Jersey power play. So that may be a slight bit of help for the Washington Capitals. He going after Dale Hunter really hurts New Jersey here.
Gustafson and Miller for Washington, Hatcher and Stevens. Broughton for the Devils with Brendan Shanahan, Verbeek, Bruce Driver, and Mark Johnson. Their power play unit. Right away the puck throws it, and play is called. Hatcher, his 10th of the year on the Washington scoring play from Peter Sundstrom and Bengt Gustafson at 15:39. And that gives Gustafson 3 assists in this game. And then the penalty calls at 15:58 to Smith for hooking, Hunter and Muller for roughing.
Mike, when you look at it now, with Kevin Hatcher reaching the double figures mark, when Mike Ridley returns, Capitals have 6 guys now in double figures in goal scoring. They may not have any guys that have 40 right now, but they certainly have got some signs that there is balanced scoring available to this team if they start to loosen up a bit offensively. You know, a lot of teams have only got 3 or 4 guys in double figures right now. The Capitals show they have them in that balance.
Here's Johnson to Driver, back to Johnson. Kelly Miller gets a stick on it. Now Sullivan back to Johnson. Sullivan throws it behind the net. And the puck cleared from the Washington zone by Scott Stevens. A minute 35 remaining on the Capitals penalty to Greg Smith, which has given the Devils the power play. Driver out to Broughton. Broughton across the blue line, offside New Jersey. Sullivan came in early on the right wing. Fred Carpenter frustrated at that. Now the Caps will host the New Jersey Devils on January the 19th, March the 1st, and March the 20th, while the Capitals come back to the Meadowlands on February 17th and also March the 2nd. You know, a lot of teams in this division had better realizing, if they aren't already, could wind up very well facing New Jersey in the playoffs.
No question about that now with the improved play of the Devils, and everybody that you talked to at the beginning of the year said, oh, they'll come back to earth. They're going to come back. You know, they showed a little bit of it a few weeks ago, but they have tightened up and really came up with a big victory the other night against the New York Islanders, and in a similar manner that it started out with this game, falling behind early 2-0 and then starting to come back with their power play. But here they trail by 1. There still is a minute 20 to go on the New Jersey power play.
Here's Mark Johnson. Wayward pass to center. Hatcher throws it back to the New Jersey line. Korn up ahead to Johnson. Dumps it into the Capital zone. Patrick Sundstrom ties up with his brother Peter Sundstrom of the Capitals along the sideboards, and again a frozen puck to stop play.
But Patrick Sundstrom with a sensational effort tonight, and it was a controversial trade that brought Patrick Sundstrom here. Reunites him with his brother Peter in the Patrick division. Patrick Sundstrom was acquired for a steep price. Greg Adams of New Jersey goes out to Vancouver along with a good young goaltender, Kirk McLean, and a lot of people said, you're just giving up too much for him. But Lou Lamoriello, who took over general managership of this team, said they needed a defensive center and a guy who can provide us with some leadership out there as well. And they think they've got it in Patrick Sundstrom. He's shown me tonight that he can certainly fill that role.
He's played a heck of a game. Broughton against Peter Sundstrom. The draw back to Johnson. Into the corner for Verbeek. Picked up by Gustafson. Gustafson with a shorthanded goal tonight. Finds an opening and sends it all the way down.
I don't think there's any better player in the National Hockey League at using his stick to get the puck away from people than Bengt Gustafson as a forward. You expect defensemen to do that a lot, but Gustafson is a master. Usually just has one hand on that stick, lets him operate and wheel. He uses it so perfectly.
Here's Driver with 20 seconds to go in the power play. Into the corner, Sullivan. Now back to Broughton. At the side of the net, Langway steals. He starts up ice. Caps changing on the fly. Langway over to Bob Gould. Has time and takes it. Backs it up to Scott Stevens. 5 seconds left in the power play. Stevens in his own zone. Up to Sundstrom. Now to Gould. Gould charging down the middle. The penalty's over. The Capitals are back at full strength with New Jersey. 2 minutes to go in the third period. Here's Rod Langway. Sundstrom along the sideboards. Peter Sundstrom for the Capitals. Tied up by Sorella, and Adams works it free and sends it the length of the ice. Here comes Sundstrom starting back. Patrick Sundstrom for New Jersey. In on Greg Smith. Hammered to the sideboards, and Greg Adams sends it out to center ice off a high New Jersey stick. Play is called with 1:21 to go here in the third period.
You know, until that stoppage in play, both Hunter and Muller could not get out of the penalty box, and that is something that had to hurt the New Jersey Devils. Not only did they lose the services of Muller on the power play, but it took him almost an extra minute to get him out of the box and get him back into action. Of course, he'll return immediately, and we'll take this face-off out there. Right now, it's going to be squared off against Bengt Gustafsson.
We're talking about that trade. At least we got Greg Adams, the other one, out of this division. Now we don't have Greg Adams going against Greg Adams. First, the other night we had two Greg Smiths and Derek Smith. I used to think Smith was the number one name in the National Hockey League. Billy Smith. A lot of Smiths around.
The two Adams get a lot of mail that's intended for the other person, equipment, things like that. It used to be easy when they'd see each other in the Patrick division. They could just exchange things. Now you see each other only a couple times a year. So it's much tougher when you get the mix-ups that those two Greg Adams normally get, both from similar areas out in British Columbia.
Here's Scott Stevens in the corner. And play has been called with 1 minute to go here in the third period.
Bob Sauvé right over there at the New Jersey bench trying to get off. Now this face-off will be outside of the Washington blue line. Doug Carpenter is telling Sauvé to kind of plant himself up there towards the New Jersey blue line. And if the Devils are able to gain control and dump it in, then they want him to head over. Now he's going to back up a little bit, almost up there at the top of the face-off circles, between the two face-off circles. But he is definitely going to try and get out there if the Capitals, or if the Devils can get this draw and get it into Washington ice.
Of course, the name we're seeing more and more in this league now is Brown. Got Doug Brown playing tonight. Rob Brown.
Dave Brown.
Dave Brown.
Patrick, Thomas Sandstrom will remember.
Here's a long drive out from outside the line, stopped by Malarchuk. The New Jersey net is empty. Scott Stevens flips to the blue line, but not out. The Devils have a sixth attacker on. Gustafsson to the blue line, out of the zone. Chased all the way back down the ice by Kurvers. If he gets there first, it's icing. It is. Gartner made a valiant attempt to catch him and tied him up. But the faceoff now goes to the Washington zone, and the Devils still have a chance here with 36 seconds to work a face-off inside the Washington zone and get a scoring play going. And they have 6 attackers out there. The Capitals will try to be defending and clearing that puck.
And this is where Dale Hunter is counted on so much by Brian Murray and the Capitals. He's been out there to take almost all the key defensive face-offs during the season, and this will be another opportunity. I think it's the New Jersey Devils who are calling timeout to discuss strategy. With 36 seconds, the scoreboard clock you see ticking away still, but they'll reset it to get it back up to about 36 seconds. Oh, that's the timeout clock, so keep yourself posted on how much time is left in the call for New Jersey. Get them back on the ice now in 10 seconds. But Dale Hunter will be the man to square off out there, no doubt, against Kirk Muller of the Devils.
Crowd tonight, a sellout, 19,040. Big house here in New Jersey, and they've filled it tonight to see the Capitals and the Devils, which makes it 3 in a row for New Jersey in sellouts here over this holiday week. Capitals with a big weekend coming up, in which at least one game is already sold out. That one against Edmonton. On New Year's Day, Mario Lemieux will be in with the Pittsburgh Penguins. Edmonton, by the way, ahead of Philadelphia now 3-0. A goal by Esa Tikkanen has given the Oilers that lead. Now there's Bob Sauvé back on the bench. He left with only 55 seconds to go in the third period. 36 seconds to play. Here's a drive, and it's blocked. Hunter clears outside the blue line. Bruce Driver backing up. Feeds to Muller. He slaps it in. Breaks his stick. Scott Stevens clears it all the way down and just wide of the goal. Driver to get it. No icing. Out to Muller. 18 seconds to go. Mark Johnson with the puck. Headmans to Verbeek. Verbeek to the blue line, and Hunter steals to center ice. It's Johnson. Out to Muller. Tied up on the play, and the puck cleared Here comes Gustafson ahead with Gould, taken right back. 2 seconds left. The puck at the blue line. The Capitals beat the Devils. The Washington Capitals have come from behind in this game to win over the New Jersey Devils by a final score of 4-3. Shots on goal during the third period. The Devils with only 5 for a game total of 20. And the Capitals with 18 shots on goal. Or make it 8 shots on goal. A game total of 34. So not many shots in the third period, but the Capitals come up with the 2 goals they needed. Hunter on the power play, and then Hatcher scoring on about the 4th try as the Capitals storm the New Jersey net. And Washington with 2 very big points in Patrick Division play here tonight as they now draw to within 3 points of the New Jersey Devils. We'll be back to discuss tonight's victory right after we pause for these messages on your Superstation for Sports, DC 20.